Hari Om dear students, welcome to our online session. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the second part of the lesson, footprints without feet. In the previous part, we have discussed about a first part and in that especially we have discussed about a scientist by name Griffin who had invented a drug which makes human beings invisible. Isn't it, children? Yeah. And this scientist Griffin, he himself had taken that drug and he became invisible. And after becoming invisible, he had taken revenge on his landlord who had thrown him out of his house. How did he take the revenge there? He set fire to the house of the landlord, and by that he became homeless. Okay, homeless, moneyless, shelterless. So he ran away from the house and now he is in the mid of London. And two children have seen these bare footprints like no on the steps of a house, and somehow they followed it, and after that he somehow managed to uh, just get rid of that two children. And after that, as he was feeling too hungry and as well as very chill, as it was mid of January month, it will be very cool there, so he was feeling that chillness. though he was invisible Though he was invisible, he could have all the feelings physically. So he was feeling very chill, and as he couldn't tolerate that chillness, he had gone to one of the malls. Okay, a big shopping mall where like he went there during closing time, where all the salesmen have gone away by locking the doors, and he had enjoyed there by wearing new clothes and by breaking the cupboards. He had taken a good clothes which to keep his body very warm, and also had nice food, and he slept that night there itself. But the mistake what he did there was he didn't wake up early. So because of that, these attendants of this shop, or you can call them as a salesman of this shop, have seen him who were sleeping in the mall itself, and immediately they started running back of him to catch hold of him, and he tried to remove the clothes and again become invisible, and he thought that it will definitely will not work. And finally he had gone to a place where like a Drury Lane, where all filmy theater things will be available. So when he had gone there, he tried to find the things which can cover the body part of the face, like no, the things which can cover the body part above the shoulder, that means the face and the head. And finally he had chosen one shop, he went there, and he took all the like no coat and nice hat and everything he won, and he had a good glasses, also spectacles. And finally, after getting ready there, what he had done, he didn't have any money. So he tried to rob the shopkeeper also there. And he just pushed them, he took away all the money which were there in the shopkeeper desk, and he ran away. So by this we can understand that here this scientist Griffin, though he was an educated person, though he was a scientist, he is a lawless man. In the beginning of the story, we have discussed in the previous part that he was a lawless person, isn't it? So that can be like no, we can prove him as a lawless because he had taken the money of the shopkeeper. He had robbed the shopkeeper, isn't it? So by taking all the money, he ran away from that shop. So with this we have ended the previous part. Hana children? So now let us get into the next part of this lesson. Okay? Yeah. As Griffin was running away from the shopkeeper after robbing him, many people were following him, like not chasing him to catch hold of him. So eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. So here children, as he was running away from the shop where he had stolen the money, the crowded, like no, people were chasing him and he wanted to run away from them. As he wanted to run away from them and especially the crowded London, he took a train. He got into a train and he went to a village called Iping and he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. Inn in the sense it is a kind of a hotel in the villages where they provide food and accommodation. So there he had booked 2 rooms in that local inn in the village of Iping. Okay children? Yeah. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. Yes, children, as it was a winter season, generally people they don't like to come out and just go to the new place, isn't it? Especially we would love to go in summer to any of the tours and visit some other places. But in winter, what do we like? We like to stay at home and keep ourselves warm, isn't it? Generally, we expect the same. But here, as a stranger arrived at this inn, especially in the winter, it was an unusual event. Unusual in the sense it is not very common thing that a stranger had visited the inn and especially he booked 2 rooms in the inn. That was really a different thing for the villagers there. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. And see here, a stranger, like how is he is of totally typical. He had even covered his face with the cloth and he had specs, isn't it children? So such uncommon appearance, a stranger of uncommon appearance have given all the tongues wagging in the sense, generally wagging in the sense moving, but here talking. Everyone started talking about this stranger. Who is he? From where did he come? And why did he come here? Why is he staying? So in this way many doubts and people started talking among themselves about this stranger and especially his uncommon appearance. He was not like a regular human being. Total body is covered with cloths, isn't it? And Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly. So here this is the inn where he had logged in, like no, he got into. And Mrs. Hall, she was the woman who was the owner of this inn and he was a landlord's wife, and she started every effort to be very friendly with this scientist. She wanted to have a friendly relationship with this scientist and know more about this uncommon man especially. But Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, my reason for coming to Apping is desire for solitude. So when this lady, Mrs. Hall, when she was trying to talk to him, he was not so friendly and he didn't talk, and he said that he had no desire to talk. Desire in the sense he didn't want to talk, he didn't wish to talk. Desire in the sense wish. So he had no wish to talk, and moreover, why I have come here means I have come here for solitude. Solitude in the sense alone. To enjoy the loneliness, I have come here and I don't want to talk to anyone. Who said these words? Lady? No. The scientist, Mr. Griffin, he said to Mrs. Hall that he don't want to talk to anyone and he came to this place for solitude, like no loneliness, and he wanted to enjoy the things alone. And I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face. And also he said that I don't want anyone to disturb me. I don't want to be disturbed in my work. I want a peace of mind and I don't want anyone to disturb me. I don't want to get disturbed. And moreover, and probably you are thinking about my appearance, like uncommon appearance, which the total face is covered with mask cloth. You can see in the picture here, the total face is covered with bandaged like with a cloth, and this is because an accident has affected my face. Because of accident I had some injuries on my face. Because of that I have covered the total face with the cloth. In this way Griffin started telling to Mrs. Hall. Okay, he said that he don't want to talk to anyone. He had come there for solitude, that is for having the things alone, and also he don't want to be disturbed. And he gave a reason for his appearance, that he had met with an accident due to which his face was affected, like injured. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. So, as he had given many reasons for his appearance and why he is not talking, finally, here Mrs. Hall, she was satisfied with the her guest. Who is the guest here? Mr. Griffin. Okay, he is the scientist was her guest. Guest in the sense the man who had come to stay in her in here. Okay, so she feels that her guest was an eccentric scientist. Eccentric in the sense a very strange scientist, and also the most important thing is he had paid her in advance. So when he was booking the 2 rooms in the inn, he paid the amount in advance, and also Mrs. Hall, she was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. So he was having some strange habits, and he was too tempered. Tempered in the sense a kind of a angry man or arrogant man. So as he had paid early and he had given many reasons like why he is not talking and why his face is covered. So in this way, as all these excuses were satisfied and all the reasons were satisfied, this she was satisfied by all the reasons. She said that nothing, don't worry. So she didn't ask any further questions. Okay, but the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. So now, as I told you that he had already paid for the accommodation in advance. So how could he pay the amount in advance? Where did he get the money? He got it from the shopkeeper. He had robbed the shopkeeper in London, no? So he used that money. But how many days that money will be there? Isn't it? He had spent all the stolen money, whatever he had stolen, the total stolen money, what he had spent all, and finally he had to admit that he didn't have any ready cash now. So one day if you pay in advance, it is not that you can stay for 1 month, isn't it? every day or every week you have to pay it. So he finally have admitted that he didn't have ready cash, and also he pretended, however, that he was expecting a check arrive at any moment. So when he said that he is not having any ready cash, he also pretended in the sense to show a false thing to be true. So he pretended that he will be getting a check at any time, and as soon as he get the check, he will pay the bill of him. So in this way he told to Mrs. Hall. Okay, children. So as Mrs. Hall was satisfied with all the reasons of this Griffin, why he is not talking, why his face is covered, she was satisfied and she didn't ask any questions, and he also she tried to tolerate all his strange habits and as well as his irritable temper, because he had paid in advance. But the stolen money from this shopkeeper, whatever he had stolen, that money was soon spent, and now he is not at all with any money. There is no ready cash with him at present. And finally he had said that there is no money with him, and he also pretended that he will be getting a check. As soon as he gets the check, he will be clearing all the payments. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. So this clergyman and his wife were also staying in the inn, and very interesting episode had happened, it seems. Let us see what is that episode, children. So early in the morning, clergyman and his wife, when they were sleeping, they were awakened by a strange noises. Noise in the sense some kind of a sound. So let us see what is that sound. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. That means, so when the moment they heard the sound, they have bent down and they tried to see what is that. Creeping downstairs in the sense, just they came down and they started seeing what had happened, and they have heard that the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. So he had kept some money in his desk, and that desk is being opened, and without making any noise with a poker. So nothing is visible, and without making any noise with a poker. Poker in the sense here, a metal rod with a handle used for prodding and steering an open fire. See here, this is the poker, and his desk, clergyman's desk was opened with the help of this poker, and he grasped firmly in his hand, and clergyman flung open the door, and he immediately said, just he shouted, he opened the door and he said, surrender. Okay, when he had seen that something is getting his desk where he had kept the money was getting opened by only poker. He couldn't see anything from there. Okay, so immediately he just opened the door and he said, surrender. Let us see what he is going to see when after opening the door. When this clergyman, he had just opened the door and said surrender, to his amazement, to his surprise, he realized that the room appeared to be very empty. He couldn't see anything there. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. There wasn't a sign of anybody. So when he had seen from the stage, he could see that somebody were trying to open the desk with the help of poker. So immediately he just came to the room and he just opened the door with a lot of noise and he said surrender. But the moment he entered into the room, to his surprise, he couldn't see anyone. The total room was empty. You can see the empty room here. He and his wife, they started searching here and there. They have seen under the desk, behind the curtains, and even above the chimney, but there was no sign. There wasn't a sign of anyone. So no one was there in the room, though they have searched for several times. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. So though there were no one in the room, but still the desk was where he had kept the money. The desk was open and the housekeeping money in the sense the money which is kept separately for the expenses to maintain the household things. So housekeeping money was missing. So extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. So the rest of the day he was shocked, and he was saying that it was really an extraordinary affair, that as he couldn't see anyone, no one was there in the room, but the desk was open and the housekeeping money was missing, isn't it? So for the rest of the day, the whole day, he was saying the same thing. How could this happen? But it was not an extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. So when this money was missing, he was feeling like the money got some wings, or it had gone away, or what? So how could this happen? What is this extraordinary thing, he was thinking? But see, it was not an extraordinary as the behavior of the Mrs. Hall's furniture little later. So Mrs. Hall's furniture, after some time, all the furniture started moving here and there. So that was more extraordinary than the missing of money. Okay. So just now they have seen that the money was missing, but more extraordinary things have happened. Those are nothing but Mrs. Hall's furniture were moving in the later that morning. The landlord and his wife were up very early and were surprised to see that the scientist door wide open. So next day morning, the landlord and his wife, that means Mrs. Hall and her husband, they woke up very early in the morning, and they were surprised to see that the scientist door was opened, and usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anybody entered his room. So generally all the time he locks his room, and he'll become very angry if anyone enters even by mistake. But now it is wide open. So they were very surprised to see that his rooms, these scientists' rooms, were wide open, and the opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. So the moment they have seen that there was no one, like the doors were open, they thought of getting inside and see what was there. And immediately they peeped into the room, just looked into the room and found that there were no one, and just thought that, yeah, now we can go and investigate in the sense to find out the truth. So they want, as the doors were open and there were no one in the room, they thought that, yes, now we got the chance, let us go and find out actually the truth, they thought. And the bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. And stranger still, the cloths and the bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. So when they have gone into the room, when they entered into the room, they have seen that the bedclothes, like the cloths on the bed were very cold. That means the scientist must have gone up very early. If you wake up just now itself, you can see that the bed will be very warm. Okay, and after a long time, if you touch the bed will be too cool. So as they have seen that the bed was very cool, they thought that the scientist must have been up for some time. That means he had woken up very early and he had gone somewhere. And also they have seen that the cloths and the bandages whatever the scientists were using were just lying all over the room. Just he had thrown here and there the dress what he was wearing and the bandages. See here he was wearing a bandages, no? So all these bandages and his dress, all the things were thrown here and there in the room. That is what here landlord and his wife had observed in the room of the scientist Griffin. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her face. So when they were seeing all these things, like no, all his belongings, like his clothes and the bandage were just thrown here and there. Suddenly, Mrs. Hall, she heard a sniff. Sniff in the sense just taking air through your nose, just like this, okay, and also just moving, throwing the air like this, okay, a forceful blow of air into the nose and out of the nose, just like this. So here Mrs. Hall, she heard a sniff close to her ear, and also a moment later, just after a little while, the hat on the bedpost in the sense any of the four wooden supports of a bed. See here the four, these are the bedposts on the four sides of the bed. So here this lady, after a little while, she had seen that the hat on the bedpost. So hat was there on one of the bedpost here, if you see in the picture. So this hat, it just leapt up and dashed itself into her face. So the hat from this bedpost, it got up and just it came and just dashed over the face of this Mrs. Hall. She was shocked because she was just seeing here and there who is there in the room, because she had heard a kind of a sniff very close to her, and very little later the bed hand from the bedpost, it got raised and it dashed over the face of the lady Mrs. Hall. And then the bedroom chair became alive. Surprising into the air, it charged straight at her legs foremost. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. So the moment this hat had just dashed over the face, she was totally, she was afraid, and immediately after that they had seen that chair. See here in the picture, chair, bedroom chair became alive. The chair became very alive and it started moving here and there. See, springing into the air, it charged straight at her, like it just got into the air. The chair just started flying into the air, and almost the chair was coming towards her. And the moment they have seen that the chair was moving in the air and the chair was coming towards them, immediately they have just turned into terror and they pushed the chair back, and both of them have ran away from the room and they have locked the room. So in this way, both of them were too terrified by the incidents of hat and as well as the chair. First, the lady had heard a kind of a sniff very close to her, and later the hat which was there to one of the bedposts got raised and just dashed over the lady, and little later even the chair started flying in the air and it was just coming very forcibly towards her, and immediately they have just pushed the chair and they ran out of the room and locked the door. They have just latched the door. Okay, children? Yeah. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits and that the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. So the moment they have locked the door and when they were coming out, Mrs. Hall, she fell down the stairs in hysteric in the sense widely emotional and exaggerated reaction. She was almost in a kind of a tension and fear, and emotionally she was very depressed that she had fallen down the stairs. So you can see like here in the picture, she had fallen from these stairs, and she was convinced and she believed strongly that in that room in the sense, in the scientist room, the scientist, he just the room was haunted by the spirit. That means the room was totally occupied by the spirits, and this stranger, who was the stranger here, the scientist Griffin. So somehow he had just made the spirits to enter into the furniture. Because of that, the furniture is attacking this lady. So she strongly believed that there are some spirits in the room, and this scientist made the spirits to enter into the furniture and attack her. And my poor mother used to sit in that chair. She mourned to think it to think it should surprise, it should rise up against me now. So she believed that these kind of a ghosts or the spirits were there in that room, and he had made the spirits to get into the chair and other furniture and attack her. And she started crying that my mother, she used to sit in that chair, and now that chair itself is against me. In that way she started crying. Mrs. Hall, she started crying in a terrified way. So you can see here how sadly she's crying that the chair where her own mother used to sit, the chair, same chair is attacking her now. And the feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. So this trouble, whatever they are facing now, it is caused by this witchcraft. Witchcraft in the sense a kind of a witch or witches. You can say in Telugu mantragatta, isn't it? So it is caused by this witchcraft. But witchcraft or not, when the news of the burglary at the clergyman's house became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having hand in it. So the burglary in the sense the amount is been lost, isn't it? So when this clergyman's home, when in his room, just when this amount is missed in from his own desk, immediately this stranger was somehow was doubtful. Okay, they started suspecting this stranger. Definitely his hand might be there in that burglary. Burglary in the sense it's a kind of a robbery where a clergyman's home, which was nearby inn, clergyman they used to just when their money which was kept for housekeeping was robbed by an unknown person, immediately they thought that his hand, like no, the scientist's hand was definitely there in this burglary. And suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. So actually here in this scientist, he said that he had no ready cash and he was expecting some cash, isn't it? But after this incident, immediately he had produced some ready cash, like he gave some amount to pay off all his bills. So the moment he had given the amount to pay off all the bills, that doubt was strongly believed by these people. Like no, that kind of a suspicion, it grew very stronger. Yes, he might have done it. He might have stolen the money, or his hand might be there in that burglary. In that way, people started believing the moment he had given them ready cash to pay off all the bills. The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. So immediately when they have got a doubt on him, when they were suspecting that definitely the scientist hand is there in the burglary, so immediately the village constable was secretly appointed to find out whether the scientist hand was there in the robbery or not. And instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall, she didn't wait for the constable, she went to the scientist. And there she had seen that he was mysteriously appearing from his empty bedroom. Somehow, without waiting for this constable, she had gone to the scientist, and there she had seen him in the empty bedroom. And she started asking, I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs, she demanded. And I want to know how it is you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. So here she started asking the scientist that I wanted to know many things. Like the first one is, I want to know how you have, like, no, see, I want to know what you have been doing to my chair. What did you do to my chair? Why my chair is flying in the air? So she asked, and also she said that how is it possible that you are coming out of an empty room and again you are entering into the room which is locked? So how these all things are happening? So in this way, Mrs. Hall, she started asking the scientist. Okay, though the constable was appointed to find out all this, she didn't wait for the constable. She went directly to the scientist, and she started asking that what did you do to my furniture, and also how could you come out of an empty room, and also how could you enter into a locked room? In this way, Mrs. Hall started questioning the scientist. The scientist was always quick-tempered. Now he became furious. You don't understand who or what I am, he shouted. Very well, I'll show you. Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose. So it took him only a minute to do this, and the horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at the headless man. So the moment this Mrs. Hall was asking many questions, immediately this man, he became furious, like he became very tempered or angry, and he started just saying, see, the scientist, he was always quick tempered in the sense immediately he used to get angry, he used to become temper, and he became very furious, and he started saying that you don't understand who or what I am. If I say also, you can't understand. He shouted, and immediately he started showing. I will show you. He said this, and he started showing, and he started removing all the throw of bandages. In the sense, he started removing all the bandages, whiskers, and spectacles he had removed. See in the picture here, he is removing his bandages and his spectacles. See, spectacles are falling down. Okay, he is removing bandage and also all the other things, whiskers and all, and it took him only 1 minute to remove all the things. And the people who were just around him in the bar, they were horrified, and they were just staring at the headless man. That means they were just looking at him in shock. How could this be happening? Like, can a human being be without head? So in this way, they were staring at headless man. Mr. Jaffers, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without head. So after this incident, when he is removing all the bandages and spectacles and whiskers, everything, when he had removed, so finally after removing all these things, finally the constable, Mr. Jaffers, he came, and he was surprised to see that now he had to arrest a man without head. But Jaffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person arrest, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. So he was shocked to see that now I have to arrest a man without head. He was shocked and he was little bit hesitant, and he was somehow ought to do his duty, but he said that he himself was saying that, so magistrate, he had warrant, magistrate's warrant in the sense it's a kind of a permission given by the magistrate in the sense judge, to arrest so and so person. So according to the magistrate's warrant or magistrate's order, if a person is to be arrested, I have to arrest, though the person is with head or without head. So in this way, Mr. Jaffer thought that, so as per the orders of the magistrate warrant, I have to arrest the person with or without head. So finally, he had decided to arrest this scientist, though he was headless. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. So after this, till now, this scientist, he had removed only the bandage which was covered to his face, isn't it? Bandage, spectacles and whiskers he had removed, isn't it? But now the remarkable scene is going to come. So there followed a remarkable scene. So after this, there was a remarkable scene where the policeman tried to get hold of the man. When he is trying to catch the man, he is becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after the other. As I told you, no, when he is having garments, when he is wearing clothes, then only he is visible, isn't it? So the moment he take off the shirt, his upper part of the body is invisible. The moment he removes the trousers, again even his legs are not visible, isn't it? So in this way, his body is becoming more and more invisible as he threw off the garments one by one. And finally, a shirt flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. So finally, when he removed all his clothes, his trousers and all, at last a shirt flew into the air. Just he removed the shirt and he thrown into the air just like that. And this constable was wondering what is happening. When the shirt flew into the air, the constable, he was struggling himself to find where the person is, to whom should he arrest, isn't it? He's struggling to find someone whom he couldn't see at all. Now he couldn't see the person at all. Some people tried to help him but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. So when he's struggling to find where the scientist is, the other people who are there in the bar, they were trying to show, see, here he is or there he is. In this way, these people were trying to help the constable, and the people who were helping the constable were receiving the blows. See here in the picture, these people, okay, other than the constable who were trying to help the constable, they were receiving the blows from these scientists. Look, from nowhere. So they couldn't understand from where they are receiving blows or who is beating them. But they are receiving the blows when they are trying to help the constable to catch hold of these scientists. In the end, Jaffers was knocked unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on to the unseen scientist. Finally, when he was trying this, Jaffer was making a great attempt, his last attempt to catch hold of the scientist. He was knocked unconscious, like no, he was bet like anything by this scientist, and he fell unconscious. Jaffers, you can see in the picture, he fell unconscious when he was bet by the scientist. Okay, for the last time when Jaffer tried to catch hold of this scientist, he was knocked unconscious, and they were nervous, excited cries of hold him. People were shouting, crying, hold him, please catch hold of him, please catch, please hold him. In this way, all the people were shouting, they were crying, but this was easier said than done. Griffin had shaken himself free, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. So the moment when they were saying hold him, they were saying that this was easier said than done. So it is easy to say, but it is difficult to do. But this was easier said than done. That means it is easy to say, but it is very difficult to catch hold of him. Somehow Griffin, he had shaken himself free. Somehow when people were just trying to catch him, he had shaken himself free. He just shook all the hands who were trying to catch him, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. No one, the people who were there in that place, they couldn't understand where to put their hands on him. Like he was invisible, isn't it? How can they catch him? Just in the air they were trying to catch, but they don't know where to catch and how to catch him. So in that way, people and even the constable Jaffer, everyone failed to catch hold of this scientist. So finally, our scientist Griffin, he had run away even from the inn where he had knocked unconscious this constable by name Jaffin and also the other people, and he proved again himself to be a lawless man, isn't it? So in this way he had run away from the shopping mall in the first incident, and again from the shopkeeper he had robbed the money, and finally again now in the inn he had done in the same way, and he just proved himself to be a lawless man, like the person who never obeys law. In fact, he was having a great talent as a scientist. He could make new inventions. He was the person who had invented the medicine which can make human beings invisible, isn't it? So the same medicine, the same drug which was invented by him, can be used for the good cause of the human being, but he misused it, and he tried to do some harm to the people also, and he had even robbed money. So in this way, as he was a lawless person, he had done all these things. If he was a good man, he might have done it for the betterment of human being living, isn't it, children? So whenever you have a great talent within you, you try to use it for the betterment of your living, not for the misuse. Just never misuse your talent. Okay, children? So hope you have understood this lesson. If you have any doubts, please contact us so that we will clarify your doubts. Hari Om. Thank you.